Hello, beautiful star. Thanks so much for tuning in. I am Astar, and welcome to Source Light Star. The light of Spirit has guided you to this reading. So if this video has found you, trust that there is a message for you to hear today. So, as the title of this reading might suggest, today we are channeling messages from Arcturus, from the star Arcturus, in the Boötis constellation. So, as you can see, we have 3 cards to choose from. Pile number 1 is the 3 of coins, pile number 2 is the 3 of cups, and pile number 3 is Judgement. See which one of the cards is calling your name. You will find the timestamps in the description box, and I'm going to be seeing you in your reading. Hello, beautiful star. So this is your reading. If you have chosen the 3 of coins, and we are channeling messages from the Arcturians. So we have this card here and a mystery card on the other side. But before we look at the mystery card, we're actually tuning into this energy here. So looking at the card, the first thing that comes up is actually the 3 alchemical principles. So I'm being made to feel that the Arcturians, they are the masters of alchemy. And the Arcturians are actually the ones who have been initiating the humans into the art of alchemy. So they are masters of energy transmutation, but they are also masters of the alchemical arts. So alchemy is basically the art of the blackness, because it's alchemia. So chem or chemia, that's basically the ancient word for ancient Egypt, like Kemet, that's ancient Egypt. And Egypt is the Black Land. So this actually refers to the art of the blackness. So everything that is in the invisible world. The Red Land, that's the desert. That's the physical world, everything that's visible. That's why we say that Egypt is both the desert, the Red Land, the physical realm, but also the Black Land, the invisible realm, the spiritual world. And the art of alchemy, again, as the name might suggest, it's the art of the Black Land, of the invisible realm, of the blackness. And from the teachings of alchemy, all the other teachings arise. So this is not only chemistry, which by the way also comes from chemistry. So again, it's chemistry, medicine, but also technology. Everything that has to do with like actual technology, like machinery, but also spiritual technology. So it's like the physical technology, but also spiritual technology. Spiritual technology is, for example, the technology of Kundalini yoga, how to work with the machinery of our body, of the universe. This is basically the art that explains the entire universe. Because again, through the teachings of the 3 alchemical principles, we are basically learning how everything is made up, how the cosmos is made up. So this is also talking about the Holy Trinity, the feminine, the masculine, and the neutral in the middle. And this also has a correspondence with the 3 alchemical principles, where there is basically the salt, which is the earth, then there is sulfur, which is the soul, and mercury, which is the spirit. So Mercury, the spirit, resonates with the neutral point in the middle, because Mercury is basically the mediator between the soul and the body. And so the Arcturians, they were basically the beings who have been initiating the humans in ancient times about the mysteries of alchemy. They were the teachers in the ancient mystery schools of Atlantis and Egypt to initiate the high priests, to basically transmit this knowledge to the humans so that it can be applied and so that we can basically work with these arts. And in ancient Egypt or in Atlantis, this was basically the art. So there was only one art. So nowadays there is this tendency to divide the arts, because we are talking about spirituality, medicine, technology, science, so it's all compartmentalized. But in ancient times, in Egypt, this was basically all one. And these are the teachings of magic, the teachings of alchemy, the teachings of the art. So magic for the ancient Egyptians and the Arcturians is not just some woo-woo thing, but it's actually science, it's medicine, it's like something very, very real. And everything in Egypt was based on magic. The rituals that were performed in order to invoke magic, and the high priests, they were not only the spiritual leaders, but they were also curing diseases and illnesses with certain talismans and with certain chants and with certain invocations. So the high priests of ancient Egypt, they were basically the masters of the art, of the one art. So the high priests of ancient Egypt, of Kemet, they were actually very gifted healers, but also spiritual teachers and medicine men and scientists, and it's like all together. And this is why the Three of Coins shows up, because this is basically this figure holding different aspects into one circle. This is basically talking about the uniting of all the arts into one. And now let's take a look at the mystery card that we have. And it says, beneath the surface, actually this way. So what's really driving you? True motives and breaking free. But actually the first thing that I'm noticing is this very strong, very beautiful blue color. So this is definitely the Arcturians coming through. So the Arcturians come through with this very deep indigo color. So it's this very high vibrational energy that is basically resonating with the throat and the inner eye, more than anything the higher chakras. And I'm actually being told this is a color that doesn't really exist on Earth. So it's basically similar to ultraviolet. Like it's almost the deepest, most intense blue-purple that we can think of. And this is basically the closest we can get to feel this Arcturian energy. But actually their essence exists in a higher dimension. All the way from the 6th to the 9th, I'm being told. There is a broad spectrum of this Arcturian energy. But I'm being made to feel that these Arcturians obviously are also present here on Earth by incarnating into the humans. So there are definitely Arcturian beings walking this Earth plane right now. But the thing is, this Arcturian energy, it's so high vibrational, it's so vast, that all of this energy cannot be channeled into only one body. And that's why there is actually, like I'm being shown, this Arcturian oversoul that has actually more than just one human incarnation. So it's almost like this Arcturian being, which is like a stem, and it's splitting up in 5 different beings or more beings, like an arm, like a finger, where the oversoul is the arm and the different humans are the fingers. That's really what I'm being shown. And this is basically an Arcturian soul family, or like an Arcturian soul tribe. And there are these soul tribes which are basically here on Earth that have a very similar intention. Because again, it comes from the same being, from the same oversoul. But it's not a being like a human. Like again, the Arcturians have this really high vibrational, really angelic energy, like a really high frequency. And again, since it's so high, since it's so vast and so deep, it is not possible to fit all of that in only one body. And that's why it's saying beneath the surface. So this Arcturian energy, or this Arcturian oversoul, it exists beneath the surface. It exists on the other side of the veil, in the black land, the realm of the blackness. But the way how this Arcturian energy is being expressed in the physical realm on Earth is basically through a human being. But then again, there are more human beings pertaining to that same Arcturian oversoul. But it's basically talking about the hierarchies, where the highest soul, the biggest soul of them all, is the soul of Source. And this is the soul of every conscious being in the universe. There is only one soul, like their highest self. And this soul has again these different subdivisions. So there is basically the sphere of light, the one soul, the universal soul, the cosmic soul. This is Atman or Brahma, the one source, the one divinity, the one God. And this then splits into this Arcturian oversoul. And the Arcturian oversoul then splits into a lower dimension, and even more, like a tree, where the tree trunk is Source, and then the bigger branch is this Arcturian oversoul, and the smaller branches are then the humans, or depending which dimension we are in. And now I'm being called to pull some more cards. Messages from Arcturus. Oh my goodness! I knew that this card was coming up. Seriously, I would like bet $1 million that this card shows up, because I saw it in my mind's eye and I was like, there is no reading about the Arcturians without this card showing up. So I love spirits, very synchronistic. Let's see what else we have. Okay, 9 of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles. Okay, so yes, with the King of Swords centering the reading, this is very much explaining this Arcturian energy, where the Arcturian beings, they are very intelligent. The King of Swords is the most intelligent person of the entire tarot. And now we have a little visitor. Beautiful. So I take this as a confirmation, definitely. So the King of Swords, it's basically this energy of being able to tune into multiple perspectives. Because the thing that defines an intelligent person is actually someone who says, I don't know anything. Because if we say, I know everything, then there is no space for a new perspective to come in. And that's why the most intelligent person actually says, I don't know anything. I'm like an empty vessel. And this way of looking at things allows for multiple perspectives to come in, so that we can explore different perspectives. So for example, when we hear a new perspective that is not really resonating with our core truth, instead of discarding it and saying, like, this is not possible or this doesn't make sense, inviting in a new perspective, because then our intelligence can rise, because then we are able to see, like we are able to perceive reality through a multitude of perspectives, the earthly perspective but also the higher dimensional perspective. Whereas if our mind is, let's say, closed and we are clinging to one perspective, then there is no space for growth, there is no space for this development, basically, this development of intelligence. This is very much taking me to Gemini energy. So King of Swords is resonating with Gemini. So the Gemini energy is really curious. They want to know everything. They want to know it from this perspective, but also the other perspective. And this is actually this duality of Gemini. This is basically being able to look at the truth from this side, but also from the other side. And so when a contradicting viewpoint comes in, instead of rejecting it, it's about inviting it and playing with it. Like the King of Swords is also very strategic. So when the King of Swords is learning something new that they have never heard before, they're like, oh, that's interesting, let's explore this thought. Let's see how it makes sense in my reality, and let's see how I can expand my reality. And this is the essence of the King of Swords. And that's why they are the king, because they are open to this multitude of perspectives. And this multitude of perspectives is actually what brings in this 9 of Coins energy, where we feel abundant, but this is talking about the abundance of experience. So it's not just the abundance in the physical realm, but it's really talking about the richness that knowledge or wisdom can provide to us. Because with the 9, it's also taking me to the 9 natural numbers, So this is basically also talking about the teachings of the universe. So when we understand the teachings of alchemy and when we understand the spiritual knowledge, this can actually add a lot of richness to our life. But the most important thing here is to be able to integrate it, not only understand it with the mind, but also being able to embody it. That's why here we have this more earthy energy. And the Arcturians are actually coming through to help us integrate spiritual wisdom in the body. So if you resonate with being an Arcturian starseed, or if you feel connected to Arcturus, there is definitely a soul mission, like there is definitely a reason why you're here. And there is again this message of connecting with your Arcturian tribe, with the Three of Pentacles, because it's about coming together with a shared goal and almost planting this seed based on your soul's intention. And that's why here we have this phrase, what is really driving you? True motives. And so it's this energy of really tuning inward, looking beneath the surface, not only looking at what is going on the surface, but also looking behind the veil, in the black land, beneath the surface. And this is basically where we connect with this Arcturian energy. And this is basically where we receive the guidance and the inspiration of which seeds to plant. And now I'm actually feeling called to pull one more card. Messages from Arcturus. There we go. Beautiful water coats. So, yes, definitely it's coming through as a confirmation of the intelligence. The intelligence is within you. And the water coats, basically the Arcturians, they were responsible to encode wisdom within the waters. So they have basically been the architects of the waters. They have also been designing all the liquids. So they have been involved in designing the blood. They have been involved in designing all the fluids of the body, like the secretion, the hormones, like all the bodily fluids and the secretion of the body. And it's basically how the waters are leading us to wisdom. So basically when we have a spiritual awakening, this is not only an energetic process, but this is also a process with the waters in our body. The waters obviously being also the energy, like the Kundalini energy, that's also water, ethereal water, spiritual water. But it's also the physical water, like certain liquids in our body. So when we have this awakening moment, then basically there is the secretion of the pineal gland, or I'm also being taken to the secretion of the glands in the body, the thyroid gland and the adrenal glands. They're basically secreting these fluids that are responsible for emotional reactions, like the hormones and all the chemicals of the body. Again, we come back to chemistry, the chemicals. It all comes from chem, the chemetic arts, the art from the black land. All of these teachings, they come from the other side of the veil. And again, the Arcturians have been coding all of this information, all of this wisdom within the waters. And that's why if we really want to connect with divine wisdom, if we really want to increase our intelligence, basically it's about working with the waters. Because again, the intelligence is encoded within the waters. The waters of the earth, the water that we drink, but also the water of our body, all the fluids, all the secretion. So literally all the ancient wisdom is to be found within ourselves, within our cells. When it rhymes, you know it's the truth. So if you resonate with being an Arcturian starseed, or in general, if you're wanting to connect with this Arcturian energy, it's actually an invitation to work with the waters. This is talking about water rituals, water prayers. I'm also being taken to this energy of elixirs. So basically charging the waters with prayers, with intentions, or also infusing the waters with certain crystals or with certain healing frequencies and using this water for healing, or for blessing a space, or for certain manifestation rituals. And by exploring this water magic, I'm being told that this Arcturian essence, this Arcturian soul aspect of yours is being activated. And by performing these rituals, these alchemical, magical rituals, we are basically not only reclaiming this ancient wisdom, but also activating these codes within the waters. So it's really talking about the activation of these codes, the activation of these remembrances, which are very much connected to ancient Egypt and Arcturus. So right now it's the time to activate these codes, because these practices are actually leading you to this new beginning with the Ace of Coins. It's really about planting a seed with this magical energy, with all this wisdom. And this is again what is bringing this Nine of Coins energy. The abundance that comes when we live a magical life, when we perform these rituals. And it's really, I'm being made to feel your soul is yearning for that, because you have been practicing the alchemical arts in ancient Egypt and in Arcturus. And this aspect of yourself is wanting to be activated right now. So, beautiful star, this was your message for today from Arcturus. I really hope you resonated with the messages. So thanks so much for tuning into the magic and spending this time with me. I truly appreciate your presence. And I'm also offering personal readings and healing sessions or light language activations. So if you would like to go deeper, definitely feel free to reach out. And thanks so much for tuning in again. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye, much love. Hello, pile number 2. So this is your reading if you have chosen the Three of Cups. And I'm being made to feel this is actually a direct continuation of pile number 1. So in pile number 1 we have been talking about the 3 alchemical principles. And it's very beautiful that synchronistically the 3 shows up again. So we have 3, 3, 33. This is actually talking about the teachings of Christ. It's not by chance that we say that the prophet Yeshua, Jesus, has 33 years. And this is actually a reference to the 33 vertebrae of our spine. But this is also talking about the 3, 3, the Trinity of the sky and the Trinity of the earth. So it's basically the 3 of the sky, the triangle of the sky, mirrored onto the earth. The triangle of the earth. That's why we have 3, 3. And when the 3 and the 3 come together, this is actually creating the Merkaba, the 6-pointed star, with the 7th in the middle. And so the 7, these are actually the 7 chakras. So all the alchemical arts, they're actually based on the 7 hermetic principles. These are basically the teachings of Thoth the Atlantean. And I'm actually being told that Thoth also resonates with this Arcturian energy. There have been many beings walking this earth plane that are resonating with this energy of Thoth. There has been Thoth the Atlantean, but again this cosmic energy has been incarnating on earth multiple times. So Thoth was a high priest in Atlantis, but also a high priest in Egypt, and there have been again many incarnations of how this cosmic being of Thoth has incarnated on the earth plane. And every time Thoth appeared here on the earth plane, Thoth was basically teaching about the alchemical arts. And that's why we say that the hermetic teachings, they come from Thoth. But the Thoth, the actual Thoth that has been giving these sacred teachings of alchemy to the humans is Thoth the cosmic dragon, Thoth the cosmic intelligence. So the energy of Thoth also resonates with the energy of the dragon, the green dragon. This is basically also the energy of Kukulkan in the Mayan tradition, or Quetzalcoatl for the Aztecs. This is basically the feathered serpent. So the symbolism of the dragon is this mixture of the serpent and the bird. That's why we say the feathered serpent. And this is basically the cosmic intelligence, because it's the intelligence of the earth, the serpent energy, the Kundalini Shakti, and the celestial energies from the stars. And when these two come together, this is what is creating the cosmic intelligence. And so all the teachings of alchemy, all the teachings of the Hermetica, they actually come from the cosmic 𝑇𝑼𝑖𝑡, from the cosmic dragon basically. And this cosmic intelligence has been inspiring us with the mysteries of the art, of the alchemical art, the art of Hermes. But the deity of Hermes, that's actually 𝑇𝑼𝑡. It resonates with 𝑇𝑼𝑡, or Mercury. So Mercury, Hermes, or 𝑇𝑼𝑡, this actually resonates with the alchemical principle of spirit, like Mercury, the one in the middle, the balancing force between the two, where the sulfur aspect, the soul, that resonates with the celestial energy. It's the energy of the sky, of the bird. And the alchemical principle of salt, that resonates with the earth energy, with the serpent energy. And again, when the serpent and the bird, the sky and the earth come together, this is what is creating the dragon energy, which is again the mediating force between the two. So actually, the spirit of Source Creator is a dragon. And there has been a distortion of what the dragon energy actually is, because this dragon energy has actually been demonized, so that we are fearing the dragon. But actually this dragon energy is the cosmic intelligence. It's the spirit of source, the spirit of consciousness. And there have actually been the dragon teachers in Atlantean times, but also in ancient Egypt and with the Maya, that have basically been teaching the mysteries of the Hermetica, of alchemy. And this was basically the incarnation of this spirit of 𝑇𝑼𝑡 into human form. And that's why here we have the 3 cups. This is also talking about the symbol of the 𝑇ρΙσκele, the Celtic symbol with the 3 spirals, where basically every spiral is flowing into one. Like these 3 cups, they are pouring the waters into each other. And this is exactly how these 3 alchemical principles work, and the Holy Trinity works. All the 3 have to be present in creation, because all of creation requires the feminine, the masculine, and the neutral point in the middle. Because if any one is missing, then creation could not exist. Because if there would be only the mother, then there is only the vast energy without form. If there is only the father, then there is the light which is not able to come into being. And that's why we have to have the Holy Trinity. We have to have the Soul Father, the Spirit Mother, and the Star Child, the Crystal Child in the middle. And this Crystal Child, that's the Christ Light. The teachings of Christ, it's actually understanding that we are the crystallization of Source Consciousness. These are the true teachings of Christ, that I am the Star Child, I am the Christ Light, incarnated in a human vessel. And this is what the 33 is talking about, 3-3, the full activation of Christ consciousness. The raising of the Kundalini, of the serpent energy towards the sky. And when this merging happens, this is what activates the dragon. So we all have a dragon within us that is just waiting to be activated. And the dragon teachers, they are here to teach us about how to activate this dragon energy within ourselves. And when this dragon energy is activated, this is what is giving us the Christ light, the halo, the activated Uraeus. And that's why in ancient Egypt, the royalty has been depicted with the Uraeus, basically the serpent emerging from the inner eye. This is basically the symbol that this dragon energy, that the Kundalini has been activated and has been risen towards the sky. And so basically this Uraeus was this symbol of a being initiated into the art of magic, the alchemical arts. And so now is the time to reveal the mystery card. And it says Enkol. I don't know what it means, but it says healer, seer, priestess, and soul's purpose. And before I continue, I'm actually being told to pull some more cards. Messages from Arcturus. Beautiful, 9 of Cups. This one fell on the floor, so that's a very important one. Ace of Cups. And last but not least, and we have the 6 of Wands. Back of the deck we have the Queen of Pentacles. Beautiful energy. So with this energy here, there is very much again this focus on the number 9. So here again I'm being taken to the 9 numbers. So the Arcturians are basically coming through to teach us about the art of alchemy. And the basis of that, learning about alchemy, it all starts by exploring the numbers. So we start by exploring the 9 natural numbers, because there are 9 numbers in nature, from 1 to 9. And all the other numbers are a combination of these 9 numbers. So if we want to learn more about alchemy, about mysticism, then we basically have to explore the symbolism of the numbers. This is talking about numerology, because everything in the universe is basically encoded with the 9 natural numbers. And so the Arcturian beings, they have also been teaching about math. And it's actually so funny, because when I was in school, I absolutely hated math. Literally every time we had math in school, I was like, no, I don't want to do it. I hated it so much that it was actually painful for me. Like being in a math class was torture, literally. This is the amount of hate that I had for math. But actually, it's very interesting to see that there was this really heavy dislike, this really heavy rejection of math. But everywhere where there is an intense emotion, it actually tells us that there is the exact opposite. Because what I actually hated about math was not basically math itself, but what I hated was basically the way how it was being taught to us. Like algebra, it was way too abstract for me, like I just couldn't understand it. Because personally I'm a very visual person and I never understood it with like numbers, it was way too abstract for me. But now, looking at the numbers and math in a different way, I actually got to love numbers. Not necessarily algebra, like I will never get into that, it's way too abstract for me. But it's actually about the teachings of the numbers, of numerology. And actually the numbers, they are encoding everything in the universe. So learning about the teachings of the numbers, this is actually learning about magic. And this is what I absolutely love. This is what inspires me, and this is really intense passion. And so there is also a message of alchemy coming through. If there is something that we really dislike, if there is something that we say, oh, I really don't want it, I really hate it, then actually there is the exact opposite energy on the other side. And that's why in German there is a saying, was sich liebt, das neckt sich. And what that basically means is the people who love each other, they are fighting with each other. And this is basically this love-hate relationship where we can suddenly change from hating someone to loving someone. And so love and hate is actually somehow one and the same energy, because it's an intense emotion, intensely liking something or intensely disliking something, but there is an intense energy. And that's why in one moment, really close friends can start to hate each other. This is how energy works. It's talking about the principle of polarity. So again, with this example of me disliking math, when I was in school, I really hated it. But then actually right now I have transmuted this dislike into intense passion by changing the perspective of how I looked at it. So all it takes to change the energy, to change the polarity, is just changing the perspective of how we look at it. And that's why actually the things that trigger us, they're actually our greatest teachers. because they are revealing to us something that wants to be activated within us. So basically, if there is a person who really triggers us and who really pushes our buttons, instead of hating them or cursing them, it's actually about seeing what is this person wanting to teach me. And so basically, if we are jealous about someone or if we dislike someone, actually on the other spectrum there is admiration. So this is really talking about the principle of polarity. This is one of the 7 Hermetic principles, the way how we shift the energy, like the art of energy transmutation. And the Arcturians, again, they are masters of energy transmutation. And they have basically been teaching how to transmute energies from one state into the other state. Because again, there is only one energy. But this energy can show up in various degrees. So there can be very cold water or very hot water. But again, what is uniting the two, it's the temperature. Because when does cold start to be hot and when does hot start to be cold? It's one and the same. And if we understand this principle, then we can actually start to transmute all the energies. And this is how we can then use the life force energy in order to heal. So for example, we can use sacred rage in order to connect ourselves with the inner child. That's why it's talking about the healer. So it's basically also talking about self-healing. If there is like intense rage, then we can actually transmute this rage into something transformative, where instead of lashing out to someone, we can use this fire, we can use this force to push us forward, to use this fire to create, instead of using the fire to destroy. And everything has a polarity, there is duality with everything. Because I can, for example, use a knife to end someone, but I can also use a knife to create a beautiful meal or a beautiful artwork. And it all depends on the polarity and how we look at things. And so with this message here, the Arcturians are inviting us to transmute the energies into love. Because basically this is what the Ace of Cups is talking about, channeling this pure energy of love into our vessel. So it's really this message that we are our own healer. And it's leading us towards the 6 of Wands. 6 is also resonating with this energy of the sexual energy, of the life force energy, of the waters. And it's basically, yes, using all the ingredients. And this is what is leading to success. It's basically knowing how to work with energy, knowing how to heal ourselves. This is what is allowing all of our wishes to be manifested. It's really about knowing how to work with energy, knowing how to fill our cup with this high vibrational energy, knowing how to transmute the energies from one polarity into the other. And this is how we are creating success. So we all have the power to create success for ourselves, to create victory for ourselves, from the defeat to the victory, from the scarcity to the abundance, from the disconnection to the love. And this is our power. And so the Arcturians are really coming through to remind us of our power, to work with the 3 alchemical principles, to work with the numbers and to work with the life force energy. And we all have that power because inherently we are all healers, we are all priests and priestesses, and we are all connected to this pool of life force energy. And so it's really about using our creative potential. But before we can fully use our creative potential, we first have to learn about it. We first have to learn about the tools that we have. A true healer is showing you how to be your own healer. And sometimes all we need is a guidance of how to heal ourselves. So this is what a true healer is. Someone who is initiating you into how to heal yourself. That's why the teachings of alchemy, they are so important for our development. So, beautiful star, I hope the Arcturians have inspired you to learn more about alchemy, to learn more about the healing arts. And if you would like to go deeper, I'm also offering personal readings and light language activations, also healing sessions. so we can activate your self-healing abilities. Definitely don't hesitate to reach out. I would be happy to be your guide. So thanks so much for tuning in again. I really hope you resonated with the messages. Please let me know if you did. And I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye, much love. Hello, beautiful star. So this is your reading if you were drawn to the Judgment card. And again, today we are channeling messages from the Arcturians, from Arcturus. And looking at this card, I'm actually really strongly being taken to this angelic energy. So the Judgment is also talking about the blowing of the trumpet. This is actually taking me to Archangel Gabriel. So I'm being made to feel that the Arcturians, they very much resonate with this energy of Archangel Gabriel. So it's basically talking about the white ray of light. This is also talking about like this very pure energy. And I'm actually being told that the Arcturians, they are basically the guides in the afterlife. They are basically the guides when the Judgment Day happens. So it's basically when the souls leave this human incarnation and transcend to the higher realms, like the literal moment of death, like when we exit this realm, then the Arcturians, they are basically guiding us throughout the realms. And it's very funny because not only are they having this role when we transition out of this human incarnation, but they are also the guides when there are transitional moments. So when we transition from one state of being into the next, from one chapter of our life into the next. And that's why when we are going through really deep transformation, then the Arcturians are very much present. So some of you are definitely connecting with Archangel Gabriel. So I personally don't really work with the archangels, but it's really strongly coming through. So some of you definitely resonate with these energies. I personally connect more with the ancient deities, but actually it's one and the same. It's just a different way of how to look at certain energies. So basically, if we look at the green ray, for example, this is resonating with the energy of Archangel Raphael, which is like the healer, the aspect of Source Creator that heals, that leads us to the wholeness, to the oneness. But if we look at this same energy through the lens of ancient Egypt, this is actually resonating with the deity of Thoth. So Thoth, or Archangel Raphael, it's the same energy, but it just depends on how we look at it. So whichever our preference is, this is how we are then connecting with this cosmic energy. And it's very beautiful because Thoth keeps on showing up. Thoth has been also very present in pile number 2. So Thoth, or Archangel Raphael, that's basically the cosmic healer. Again, the spirit that guides us to the wholeness. Thoth is basically restoring the eye of wholeness, of oneness. Because when Horus is fighting with Set, when the higher self is fighting with the lower self, the one eye, the eye of oneness, is damaged. Because basically Set is throwing dirt into the eye, and so the eye gets damaged. That basically means that we are temporarily forgetting about the oneness while we are experiencing the lower human nature. So Set is the lower human nature, and Horus is the higher human nature. Set is the unenlightened human, and Horus is the enlightened human. And so in order to move from the lower self to the higher self, in order to reach enlightenment, we basically have to call upon the energy of Thoth, the energy of the cosmic healer, so that the eye of oneness can be restored. And this is basically this story of the healing of the eye. And when this healing takes place, then this judgment moment is happening, because it's basically every time we reconnect with the oneness, we reconnect with that spiritual light, then there is the blowing of the trumpet. And that's why, again, it doesn't necessarily have to be only in the moment of physical death, but it also happens in a moment of ego death, because that's also a moment where like an ego aspect of ourself is dying, and we reconnect with the light of oneness. But we can actually go through these deaths multiple times. So we can die and be reborn multiple times throughout our human experience. Obviously not physically, but metaphorically, like spiritually. And so if this reading has found you, and if you tune into this message, right now is one of these judgment moments where the Arcturian energy is very present to guide you to a next chapter of your life. But not only a next chapter of your life, it's literally like a new state of being, a new timeline, almost a new dimension. And that's why the Arcturians have been guiding you to this reading, because I'm really strongly feeling this high vibrational angelic energy radiating through this reading and really guiding you and guarding you at this very pivotal time in your life. So let's see which other messages there are. Let's reveal the mystery card. We have the Wellspring. Okay. I believe this was present in Messages from the Pleiades. So if you haven't watched that reading, definitely check it out. There is also a message for you in there as well, because this card has been showing up. And it says, what are you thirsty for? Body care and take a break. So I'm actually being told to pull some more cards. Okay, we have Page of Swords, the Star, beautiful, one more. Beautiful, Eight of Wands, love this energy. So, Wellspring, Judgment, Page of Swords, centering the reading. So the energy is very interesting. I've never gotten a message like this. So it's almost like you are being given, almost like a new body, like I'm being made to feel your aura is shifting, a new vibration, a new energy is radiating from your field. And it's this energy of getting attuned to this new way of being. And that's why the Page of Swords, it's basically an apprentice. This energy of learning something new, getting used to a new way of being, getting used to new knowledge. So right now you are in this phase where you are basically getting used to a new vibration, a new timeline. And that's why there is this energy of body care, take a breath. It's really this energy of nurturing yourself, taking things slowly, because I'm being made to feel the energy is very, very intense. We have here the Star, which is talking about this very high vibrational celestial energy, and the Eight of Wands. Every time I see this Eight of Wands specifically, I'm being made to feel this energy of solar flares. So right now you could be going through a lot of higher chakra activations. With the Star, it's not only the crown, but I'm actually being taken to the Soul Star and the Stellar Gateway, Galactic Gateway, like all the higher chakras that are actually connected to the astral body and the causal body. And that's why I've been feeling this very, very high vibrational angelic energy. And this is very much the Arcturians coming through. So right now the Arcturians are actually working on your higher chakras, and I'm actually being made to feel that this reading is also a transmission. So if you resonate with this pile, I'm inviting you to watch all the piles, because I'm being made to feel that this reading is actually an energy transmission from the Arcturians, and they are basically helping you to reach for the stars. And this is really transcending, but in a very grounded way, because the energy that's coming through is very gentle. It's actually very grounded. Even if it's super high vibrational, super celestial, it is still coming through in a very grounded way with this wellspring. It's actually a very earthy energy. So there is also a message of grounding right now, eating grounding foods, being close to the water, because I'm really strongly being made to feel that you're going through an energy upgrade with this burst of light, this burst of energy. And it's very important for you to get used to this increased energy, this increased frequency. That's why we have the energy of the Page of Swords, this energy of the apprentice. And now I'm actually being called to pull some more cards. I actually only wanted to pull one, but I said some more, so we definitely need to pull two. And it says bounteous. And I'm feeling one more. And the rainbow. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Back of the deck, plunge. Don't hold back. It's time. Go for it. Dive in. So now I'm being made to feel it's divine timing for this activation to take place. And here it says generously given, relationships and coming together. So the main focus here is actually on the sun. So right now you are coming together with this soul aspect of yours. I'm almost being made to feel you are coming together with the Arcturians. So if you resonate with the Arcturian energy, if you resonate with this whole reading, then it's basically an invitation to call out to your spirit guides, call out to the Arcturians, and ask them to reveal themselves to you. This is exactly what I did a few years ago. I was saying, okay, if the Arcturians exist, if star beings exist, then please show yourself to me. And literally a few days later, I had a really intense dream where they basically showed up and they were there, like I literally saw them. And I undoubtedly knew that these beings exist. And they are actually coming through because they generously want to give something to you. There is healing wanting to occur. Yes, I'm actually being told that the Arcturians, they are wanting to gift you this activation of your higher chakras. I keep on getting the same message: Soul Star Chakra, Stellar Gateway, Galactic Gateway, the higher chakras. And when these chakras are activated, then you're able to come together, to reunite with these multidimensional aspects. And it has to do with activating this rainbow energy. I'm being made to feel you could resonate with being an indigo child, a crystal child, a rainbow child. It's basically talking about the activation of the entire spectrum of light, so that we are not only tuning into the spectrum of light in the physical realm, but also a higher spectrum of light. The multidimensional light, where we can then communicate with these star beings, where we can commune with this angelic energy, this angelic frequency. And this is where we learn about the relationship we have with these light beings. Like, I'm actually seeing these beings now. They are really soft, really gentle, and they are chanting, like I'm hearing their hums. And they are transmitting these hums to you. So if you're hearing the call, if you can pick up on this energy, then it's really an invitation to call in your spirit guides, your angelic guides, the Arcturians, because right now it's about the activation of the rainbow. And again, when the higher chakras are activated, then we can add new colors to the rainbow. So it's not only the 7 colors that we are able to see in the physical realm, but it's also activating the higher colors. That's why in pile number 1, I was actually feeling this Arcturian energy, which is somehow resonating with indigo, but it's much closer to ultraviolet. So ultraviolet is like deep purple, but it's so high vibrational that we are not able to see it with the human eyes. So we can only feel this energy. And there are moments where this deep purple, this indigo color is really coming through, and it really looks like the deepest purple that you can imagine. And so actually a lot of indigo children, they actually come from Arcturus. They very much resonate with this Arcturian energy. And I'm almost being made to feel that this is the color of your aura, this deep indigo purple, but also this rainbow energy, this crystalline rainbow essence. That's why the star is showing up with this deep purple, deep blue indigo vibration, but also this very high vibrational crystalline rainbow frequency. And so the way forward is grounding this very high vibrational energy into the earth. And this takes a while, this takes mastery, because with this intensity of light, it can actually make us very ungrounded, especially with all these solar flares and especially with like this intensity. And that's why right now it's really important to ground in the body, be in the body, because I'm actually being told that this activation happens astrally. It happens while we sleep. It happens in the higher realms. And that's why there is also this message of communicating with the Arcturians, with your spirit guides in dreams. So I'm almost being made to feel that some of you have had dreams where you are visiting healing chambers, the Arcturian healing chambers, the healing temples. So you could have had dreams where you are either flowing upwards, water flowing upward, or also immersing yourself in pools of water, or also in general this very crystalline, this rainbow kind of energy. I'm really being made to feel your spirit guides, the Arcturians. They are wanting to lead you on a journey in the inner realms. And this is basically what is leading you to a new beginning, a new way forward, sweet relief. It's really about bringing back the sweetness. So if there is bitterness, it is actually because we are not using our highest potential. Because on some level we know that there is so much more to experience, so much more to feel, and so much more to see. And we feel the bitterness because on some level we know that we are not fully tapping into our highest potential. So right now this activation is happening in order to bring the sweetness back so that we can again visit these healing temples, to be able to perceive them, to be able to pick up on them. And we are able to perceive these crystalline temples, these healing chambers, when the soul star and the stellar gateway, the galactic gateway, when the higher chakras are active. So before the higher chakras are active, we are not fully able to integrate this wisdom in the physical vessel. Then we might still energetically visit these places, but we are not able to integrate this information in the physical, so it stays in the higher dimensions. But right now there is this message of coming together, integrating these soul aspects into the physical body. That's why actually the main focus is the physical body. That's why it's about grounding, about giving your body the nutrients that it needs to keep yourself grounded. So I'm actually being told not to imprint too much when it comes to the journey that the Arcturians are wanting to lead you on, because this can be a very personal experience for you. I'm being made to feel it's something very unique to your soul, the journey that you're being led to. So if this message has found you, it is basically a warning that you're being taken on a very sweet journey in the higher realms, in your dream realm, which is helping you bring more sweetness in the physical realm. And this is really how we then bring the two together. It's about integrating all the aspects, the spiritual and the physical, into one. And the Arcturians are helping you right now to reconnect with the wholeness. And this is very much this message of the healing of the one eye, the eye of oneness, the eye of wholeness. So we can never fully feel complete, fully healed, if we are not integrating both the spiritual and the material into one. If we never connect to the higher realms, if we never connect to this celestial, high vibrational angelic energy, then we will always feel like something is missing. And right now this activation is happening so that the wholeness can be restored. And that's why the Arcturians, your spirit guides, are gifting you with this activation, so that you can come back into wholeness and to restore the inner eye, to restore the eye of oneness, which is ultimately leading to more sweetness and a sense of peace in this present moment. Beautiful star, this was your message from the Arcturians for you. And now I'm actually hearing music in the background, so it's also this energy of celebration, dancing, moving the body, bringing in the sweetness, connecting to the flow. And if you would like to go deeper, I'm also offering personal readings and healing sessions and light language activation. They can help you to really integrate these high vibrational codes in the body in a balanced way. So if you're looking for guidance or support on how to navigate the higher realms, definitely feel free to reach out. I would be very happy to be your guide. So thanks so much for tuning in again. I really hope you enjoyed this transmission, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye, much love.